Welcome to Huckleberry's Outdoor Adventures, aka HOA. So, I've been gone for a little bit, but there's a reason. There's a reason. We just got back a little while ago, I'd say probably a week ago, from our 6-day trip in the UP, and we went with MST, Mitten State Tours Group. It's on Facebook. They do free tours kind of around the area, group rides, off-road, camping, kind of the overlanding thing. And so we went out a day early, came out Thursday, found a spot near the Gould City area that was kind of near the beach so that we could walk to the beach. And we did that. It was beautiful. We took that whole day basically to relax. Kid got to play in the beach, play in the water. We got to just kind of relax and wait for everybody else to show up. There was an early group that was going to show up Thursday night, and they showed up around 10 p.m. or so, got their stuff set up, and we relaxed for a little bit around the fire, chit-chatted, talked about the next day, went to bed. Pretty simple. But the next day, we packed everything up, and we made this long trek. You'll hear my mouse click here and there. Just trying to get a better sense for exactly kind of where we went. So, yeah, okay, here we go. So we went through, Gould City, through Manistee, and through, I believe, Escanaba. Yep, through Escanaba to our next campsite, which was really beautiful. It was on a lake. I guess I wouldn't even call it a lake, but it was in the Crystal Falls Forest Management area, South Ponce. I guess I could kind of narrow it down a little bit more for you, near Randville, and found a beautiful spot there. It was kind of hard because terrain was like really not rough, but super uneven for like tent camping. So for us, we struggled a little bit finding a flat camp spot, but the site itself was beautiful. And in the end, we did find one. So it was gorgeous. We spent most of the day there. A couple people went fishing. A couple people went on a hike to a mine nearby. It was cool. And again, like you do in camping situations, we chill out a little bit, sit by the fire, chit-chat, blah, blah, blah. You know, in the morning, it was supposed to rain. I get up around 6:30 or so in the mornings, 6:30 to 7. Just naturally, I just get good sleep, I guess. And as I was getting up, we started feeling the sprinkles, so we started packing up pretty early. We wanted to make sure we beat the rain out so our tent wasn't soaked, and we did just in time. By the time we were all packed up and ready to go, it started downpouring. So on our way out of camp, it was pretty cool. I've never been to like the West UP area, so I really didn't know what to expect at all, not just, in general, but as we were going out, you started seeing like this red mud stuff that you would like expect out of like the southern US. Like you always hear about the red clay, the red dirt roads, stuff like that. And you have that up here. So we were driving through that. It was really slimy. Nothing hard, of course. These were Forest Service roads, but with that rain, it made that certain composition really just slimy. So we were sliding a little bit, getting in and out of there. It was fun. And so we pulled out of that area, went north and through Mansfield, into Crystal Falls. We stopped for some gas there. And then we kept going because we were trying to get as far west as we could through Gibbs City, kept going north, took some trails to get there. So a lot of this is like trails going through. So like, for instance, we, by Paint River Forks, we took the, what is this called? OC Trail, took that up to Federal 2149, then to Federal 3500, 3630. Just kept doing every trail we could to get west until we got to the Bond Falls. And then we checked out all of Bond Falls. That was super cool. I don't really know, like, I haven't been to a lot of different falls. I went to a lot as a kid. I don't remember a lot of them, but Bond Falls is definitely probably the most beautiful falls I've seen. I think they're more beautiful than Tequamanon, just the setting and how close you can get to them. It was just gorgeous. So yeah, we stopped there for a little bit. Then we kept going north on the main road. We stopped at a picnic area and kept going north through Bruce Crossing and then stopped near Rockland, I believe it was. Let's see. Yeah, Rockland. So stopped near Rockland. There's a rock quarry nearby that we stopped and camped at for the night. And that was really cool. Really uneven again for tents. So first couple nights for tents weren't the best. But we found some moss and threw it up on that and slept fine. We got up from there. That was Saturday, I believe. Yep. And took the big trip up north. But, I guess I kind of skipped over some good parts. But Saturday, we actually, we got to camp. We've been traveling all day, so we probably got there like 6 or 7. We ate dinner around 8, and there were some guys that were going home Sunday after they were going to do a mine tour in that area. So there were some guys going home, and some wanted to see like Lake of the Clouds, and I was pretty pressed on it that I was going to see it whether I went with them or not. So I tried to plan something where everyone was happy, and we just decided we were like, screw it, we're just going to hang around all night anyway. Let's just go. So we got up, ate our dinner, and just booked it for Lake of the Clouds. Took the most direct route we could because there was only like 15 minutes of light left by the time we actually got there. So went through Ontonagon, into the Porcupine Mountain State Park, and went straight to the Lake of the Clouds, like parking lot, trailhead area, which the drive up there was really cool, by the way. So we went up there, saw that, and it was beautiful. Absolutely gorgeous. I would recommend that to anybody who comes up to this area of the UP. You have to do it. It's beautiful. We spent the time there, took some pictures, and decided we were going to take a quick dip on the way back. So we stopped around Silver City area, maybe Green, on the way back to Ontonagon. At this point, it was probably 10 around that. It was getting pretty chilly, but so we were all kind of like, talking up that we were going to go swimming. And then by the time it got that cold, we were all kind of like, I don't know. I'm not really feeling it. One of the guys already got in there and was Austin, I believe, and he was up to his knees. And we were like, oh, man, okay. And then my wife, who is a wussy wuss in cold weather, got in the water. And that surprised all of us. I was like, holy crap, dude. And then she kind of looked at me and she dove in. And I was like, what the fuck? And, not wanting to be outdid, because usually I'm the cold weather guy. I was like, dude, I got to do it now. So actually, me and my buddy Ed and Austin, we got back in, and so we were just like, all right, on the count of 3, 1, 2, and we all jumped in and dove, went underwater. And pretty much as soon as we came back up, we were like, okay, yep, that's good. I mean, it was cold. It had to have been in the water itself on Lake Superior is frigid, but it was already in the 50s, I want to say. We could see our breath while we were standing in the water before we even dove in. So after we got out of the water, yeah, we could see our breath pretty good. So yeah, we got really nice and refreshed. We felt really good after that. We drove back, got back to the quarry, and slept really, really well. And in the morning, we kind of parted ways, said goodbye to most of the guys because they were either going home or going to the mine, then going home. And we were going to actually stay up for a few more days. So we said goodbyes, and we actually split from, there was a group already going to Keweenaw. They were going to stay a couple days. And we split from them because, we got young kids, and I didn't want to be rushed. Like if we found a spot that we wanted to stay at, we'd stay. And I didn't want to feel like this was, we had to go and do this, and this. So we split off, and we were just like, we're just going to do our own thing. And so we actually went up and took the big old drive up to Copper Harbor area. We went through Houghton, and I've never been through Houghton before that I can remember. And Houghton's gorgeous. I mean, that was like our top city. We're like, we're moving here. Before it was MST, and now that we've been through Houghton area, we're like, yeah, okay. We want to live here. So if we ever move and you can't find us, check Houghton. We might be in that area. So we get to Houghton, stopped, got gas, checked all the cool little stuff out there. We didn't stop at the Quincy mine because some of the people in the group aren't really big on mines. and I've done them a lot as a kid. They're all kind of the same. Like you see, it's like the shipwreck museum. Once you've been there once, it's kind of like, okay. Or Sulaks. Like I'm not big on Sulaks. I went there a couple times and stand around and wait for a boat to drive by. It's like, yeah, okay. So we went through Houghton and went to Gay, Michigan. If you're ever up in the area for like overlanders and stuff, you have to stop at Gay. They have a gay bar. They have the Gay Sands Beach. The gay bar is just kind of a fun little knick-knacky place to go because it's called Gay. They have a gay bar. And then there are the Gay Sands Beach, and that was that's all like it's all drivable. You can drive on it. It's all byproduct from like mining. So the government said that they clean up all the arsenic out of it because it's also known as like the arsenic sands. So we spent a little time on that, and we thought about camping on it, but we didn't really like the idea of camping on something that the government claimed to have cleaned up. Not saying I don't trust the government. I'm just saying, yeah. So we did that, and we followed the coast from Gay all the way up to Point Isabel. Went around Lac La Belle Lake, which is really cool because they have like a road really close to the lake. Like the shoulder is where the lake's at. Like the shoulder of a typical road is the shoulder of where that lake's at. So it's kind of cool. And then we took a left from Lac La Belle and went straight up to Copper Harbor. And I swear I went to Copper Harbor as a kid. I always remembered hearing Copper Harbor. You got to go there. You got to go there. And when we got there, honestly, it was kind of underwhelming. Maybe I went to Eagle Harbor, and that's the part that I remember. But I was like, we got in there, and I was like, okay, let's keep going. Because, I mean, there's some gifts and knick-knack stores and some restaurant, but if you're just looking for cool stuff to see, there just wasn't much there. And we were kind of, at that point, we were like, all right, we got to find this. So after we went to Copper Harbor, we sat there for a little bit, checked our downloaded maps, talked, and we were like, okay, so we know where we need to go. I have all the maps downloaded. I know what trails we need to take, so I led the way on that. And our goal was to get to High Rock Bay. So we went down. It is US 41. You get all the way to the end of US 41, and it turns into a dirt road. There's a sign that says High Rock Bay. So we took High Rock Bay Trail all the way as far as we could, staying on that main High Rock Bay Trail until we got to the split, which was Rocket Range Trail. We took Rocket Range all the way up, and instead of actually going to the Rocket Range, we just followed that all the way out to High Rock Bay, which was beautiful. Really unique landscape in the northernmost point of Michigan. So, I know this is small scale. So like some of you guys who have done like you've done like Colorado or been to Alaska. So it might not mean much to you, but like going to the northernmost point of Michigan, it's always been like always been like a dream. Hey, look, this is the farthest we've ever been. So it was cool. And we actually camped out at High Rock Bay for 2 days. So that the rest of that day and then a whole nother day, and we left on the next one, which was Tuesday. So yeah, High Rock Bay was beautiful. Rock ledges, the whole beaches are just like different style of rock. So if you're a rock guy, there's a bunch of cool stuff there. And that we really enjoyed that. You get up to the High Rock Bay part. There's the cliff side of the High Rock Bay where everyone camps, and then there's like a down trail to the left, kind of more in the woods. The top part, black flies everywhere, just biting the shit out of you when you were out there looking. You get down into that little wooded area, and it's mosquitoes. So pick your poison. We chose mosquitoes, and we stayed down there, and it was really nice because it was right on the beach too. So we stayed there, and Tuesday we got all packed up. We said goodbye to our friends that we had been pretty much camping with this whole week, and we took the long drive back. I did air down on the way back because I just wanted a smoother ride. Aired back up at the end of High Rock Bay Trail, right where it goes back into US 41, and then took my previous travel trail, this is good for why Onyx is good. We had no service in that area. You'd get like a spark here and there, but it wasn't enough to like update all the maps and do all this and that. So we got to Copper Harbor, and because I was already tracking this route, I could just look back on where we had already traveled and take the turns I needed to get back to like Houghton. So once we got back towards like Eagle Harbor, started to get a little bit more south, we got service again. We stopped at a gas station, topped off, put home. on our map and just started trucking. We took that all the way back. I drove for about 4 hours. She drove for about 2.5, 3, which would be 7, and then I drove the rest. I just needed a break, so but we drove all like 9 hours back home and got back home at like, God, it was late. It was probably like 8 or 9 p.m. So accounting for all the stops that we did, just to give the kid a break and, grabbing lunch, stuff like that. It was a 11-hour drive almost. So it was a big trip, but it was completely worth it. I was actually really impressed. I actually was able to take a nap in the car with my wife driving, and usually I'm not nervous. Like, I know she's a good driver. I just like to know what's going on. It just made me nervous. So that was really fun. We did a lot that weekend. There was a railroad bridge that we drove over. It was an old railroad bridge. And that was beautiful. There were some falls under that. There was just a lot to see, and there was so much more you could do. We were on a limited budget, very limited. Pretty much the budget was gas money only. And you know what, dude, it worked out. We had food from home. We had some dehydrated meals that we cooked up the last couple nights to help spread the last, because we had hot dogs for, God, 3 days, and then someone gave us a pack of their hot dogs because they were leaving and they weren't going to eat them. So we had a ton of hot dogs. So the last day, our camp neighbors, they gave us some steak. They'd cooked all they needed, and I graciously took it. I had some dehydrated meals from Peak and Backpackers Pantry, which are really good quality meals for emergencies or lazy days, rainy days, anything like that. And so we made those up. I made like 2 different ones up. No, I made 3. I made a chili verde 3-bean stew, which was pretty good. Needed some salt and pepper. And then I made Sienna a wild mushroom Alfredo, which was pretty good on its own, but again, we added some salt and pepper. And then for the kid, I made the macaroni and cheese by not Backpackers Pantry, Mountain House. And Mountain House is kind of like bottom rung dehydrated food. It's edible. As a friend once told me, it'll make a turd, but as it seemed a little watery when it hydrated back up, and then because they were taking a nap while I was cooking, by the time they woke up from their nap, at that point, it had like watered down to just cheese water and noodles. So while I didn't like that, Sienna didn't really like that, the kid loved the taste. So he ate pretty much that, not the whole bag, but he ate pretty much all of that. And then I cut up the steak. I fried that, cut that up, and distributed it through all of our meals. So, all in all, it was a good last dinner. I mean, in the morning we woke up and we had a little bit left over because I always overplan for gas. So we got into like Houghton, area around there. Oh, I'm sorry. No, it was more west, closer to the bridge. But we stopped at like a McDonald's in like Ishpeming or something. And we just got some McDonald's to tide us over till we got home. And yeah, I mean, we did it on a budget, guys. I mean, this was a tight budget. As I would say, just to start out for groceries, it was a little less than $200 for the whole week, 6 days. That's eating all meals a day, plus snacks, plus drinks. Water we refilled at state parks. That's also where we kind of dumped our garbage at sometimes. If not at a gas station, because we use like small grocery bags, so that way you can put them in the garbage, in the trash station. So yeah, I mean, we did this on a budget. I was really impressed with what we could do. What was a really, really long car ride to me last year is not a really, really long car ride to me now. And that makes me excited as someone who wants to travel the country and knows that there's going to be a ton of driving in it, that I can relax and also pass the reins off to my wife, and she can do a fine job. And like I said, she's not a bad driver. I like to have control of my truck. I like to make sure that if anything happens, it's my fault, not anyone else's. Like, not that I would pass the blame or anything. It's just, I'm very preppy. I like to plan things. I like to be in control in the most non-toxic way, I guess, that you could put. But I just like there always to be a plan. I'm like a step off of OCD, because also at the same time, when I also know when to let go of said plan and loosen the boundaries up a little bit. So, and I think when you're camping, you have to, because there's like, I could sit here at home like I was doing, and for the full month before, I had planned out at least 100 points of interest, places you want to stop, places to get gas, waterfalls, this and that. And then when you're doing it, and I know this now, but my first trip to the UP with my wife and son, I had probably like 300 points plotted out from, and all we did was go from like the bridge, St. Ignace area, Grand Marais, Lance, and then back down. And I had like 300 points there of interest. So like there's a point to where it's good to have a plan like that, but then you have to also like let go, because if you really want to enjoy it, there's no, like, at least for us, like there's no possible way that we could also enjoy that and hit every one of those points. Kid does not like to be awake and in the car seat. Like, so long stops in between. So like, yeah, can you do it with a kid? Yeah. But there are ways to make it easier. Like, you stop at one spot for an hour. He's good. You stop, you eat, you play, you get back in the car. The next drive, 30 minutes to an hour later, give him some nap time. If you're stopping every 15, 20 minutes, this dude's going to be grouchy, right? So, that on top of like the fact that we're stopping, and usually if we stop, we were going to spend money. We didn't have to, but it was like, that was kind of our thing. We wanted stickers. We wanted knickknacks, this and that. So we settled for rocks this time, just picking up rocks off the ground and like, hey, this is our knickknacks. So, yeah, I mean, it's doable. And that made me look forward to the future. I'm like, hey, you know, this can get bigger. We can do this together and do much bigger drives. And also, I can split drive time up with her. And if we wanted to go down for like a 4-day weekend to the UP, we could do it, like between the two of us. And it's only like a 4-hour drive for us, which isn't super bad. It's just like the aspect, like thinking of doing a 4-hour drive, then only staying there for like a day and a half and then making another 4-hour drive back. Like that's the downer to it. But all in all, it was a good trip. Had a lot of fun with the MST gang. We had a lot of fun with the group that we were in towards the end. Saw a lot of really cool stuff. Shout out to Mint State Tours for their groups there, because it's a lot of fun. It's a lot of fun to meet other people that like what you do, that have kids, that share the same passions, and that your kids can play with, and you don't have to worry about them, severely harming them or being creepy or anything like that. You just kind of relax. You get to enjoy it more when you're in an area that has the mindset of it takes a village, So yeah, that's my update on our little 6-day UP trip. I would say out of all the gear that we used, we actually used our 2-person Nemo Dagger tent, which worked really good for us this time. By this time next year, he's going to be too big for all 3 of us to fit in there. Thankfully, we're side sleepers and he could still fit in here now, but we'll see on this next Labor Day trip coming up. I don't know if we're going to stick with the Nemo Dagger. It's a 3-day trip. We might go with the core. Well, we just got gifted a core tent, so we might do that. That's a bigger tent, more space for him to play and stuff, so we'll see. Everything worked well that we had. Nothing failed, nothing didn't go well out of the equipment that we had, so I have no complaints so far. Everything's good. See you guys on the next one.